This is a podcast where we discuss all aspects of personalities and human behavior.
We are three professional counselors and your hosts. I'm Heather.
I'm Amy.
I'm Erin. Welcome to the Personality Pod.
Hello.
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Welcome to the Personality Pod.
Yay!
Shall we kick it off with a conversation starter?
I think
Yes.
that's pretty customary at this point.
Okay.
Let's do it. Amy,
Ready?
it's your turn.
All right. Heather.
And she just rolled her eyes as she read it.
No. It's good. It's good. Heather. Yes. What is one thing you want to achieve in this lifetime?
Oh. Let's start off with something light.
These aren't conversation starters. This is like a journal entry. It's going to take all day.
It'll make
Level
you start
7
thinking
conversation.
and talking so that we can get in the right podcast mode.
There we go.
Okay. What's one thing I want to achieve?
Yep. Don't
In this
analyze
life.
it. It doesn't
First
have to be your
thought.
final answer. First thought.
Oh my gosh.
I want to write a book.
Ooh.
Okay. Tell us all about it.
Well, I used to want to write a book that was about a girl coming of age, but I've scrapped that. I don't want to write that book anymore. And I have a few other books that I have in mind. One is going to be the story of somebody, if they'll cooperate with me, about a crime they committed. I'm
it.
working on that.
Ooh.
Okay.
And,
You're gonna do a tell-all about a person,
A real live event.
a real life person that was involved in a crime.
yes.
Okay.
And I've asked that person. I've started a conversation with said person who's in prison. So we'll see if they cooperate
That
with me.
is
Since
so
I'm not a
awesome.
journalist,
Love it.
I have no credentials to write anything. So they may just ignore me. We'll see.
You can write therapy notes. There's your credentials. It's not the same, but no.
And I don't want to write a therapy notebook on
no,
this
I was-
lady. It was a very famous crime. I'm not going to here's the cliffhanger. It's a
Yeah.
famous crime. And there's no books about it.
Yeah,
Okay. Write it.
That's what I want to do. We'll
that's
see.
awesome.
Anything
But
else?
I have to get her to cooperate.
Right.
Amy had one prepared. Go, Amy.
Oh, mine's not as specific as that, although I do want to write a book and I started one. I'm 500 pages in and I can't end it. So, but my bigger overarching goal is just, my overarching goal is financial freedom. And what that means to me is just, being to the point where I can make decisions that are just totally great for me and my mental health and my family, so that I don't feel like I have to go and work full time. Am I explaining this right? I want to be able to stay home. I want to be able to get up when I want to get up. I want to work on the things that I love and that I'm passionate about. And I want to structure my day in a way that feels good for me and
Is not dictated by anybody else.
right.
You want to be your
Or
own
your
boss.
finances.
I do want to be my own boss, but I
Yeah.
don't want to just quit my job and then have to live in a cardboard box. I want to have enough financial freedom that I can be my own boss. And
You want to live in one of those trash containers, those big ones.
no, I don't want anything to do with trash and cardboard and streets.
No. Are you
Are you
I
talking
want to
about
be
those
in my
cute
home.
little houses?
Yes, they make houses and little restaurants out of them now. It's a
trash
DIY.
containers?
No,
They're
out of
gigantic,
those shipping containers
or the big dumpster canisters.
Huh.
I've never
I was
seen
just
that.
playing
I don't
on
want
the.
that.
I was playing on the cardboard box thing to something bigger and sturdier.
I don't want
Forget it.
any of that. I
Forget
guess
it.
I want to be my own boss, period. Okay.
Yes, and do what you want to do. Love it.
Aaron,
I want to see the world, man. I want to travel like you would not believe.
the whole world.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your first place?
Outside of Antarctica, I do not want to go to Antarctica, and my husband does. And I told him I would love postcards. That would be fantastic because I can see it from his eyes, and I trust that because I have no desire to go there. Oh my gosh, I want to
What's
climb
first?
mountains in the Middle East, and I want to. I want to go to a cooking class in Tuscany, and I want to walk on the Great Wall in China and be in the outback and see live animals there. And I want to take my kids. I am
Hold on,
dying.
I want to go.
I know. I see some of these images in the world, and it makes me want to experience all of it. And the good and the bad. I'm not just, I mean, don't get me wrong. There would be something absolutely fantastic about staying at these high-end resorts. But no, I'm talking,
You want to experience the culture?
I want to experience the culture. I want to see everything about it. I had the privilege of going to Africa when I turned 8 years old in Africa. So I went originally when I was 7. My oldest sister was in the Peace Corps there. And so we met her in Kenya, and it was my parents and myself, and I was 7. I had absolutely no idea what in the world was going on. I was just like, yeah, we're going on a trip. But I got to experience things that stick with me still today, of seeing cultures living in the middle of nowhere in mud huts, making their own things and creating and killing the animals for food. And it was beautiful.
You want to travel like Anthony Bourdain style.
Yes, I would love to. And he was a brilliant man, and it makes me so sad that
It's very sad.
that was how that ended. But yes, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. And I don't want to take my kids when they're 7 because I don't think they would appreciate it. I definitely did not appreciate it when I was 7, or at least understanding the impact it could have had. But there are things that still stick with me. And it was so amazing to be able to do that when I was young and experience the world. And it did change how I saw experiences for the rest of my life, seeing people begging on the street. And my mom, I remember, this is a horrible image, but it impacts me so much. I remember a woman approaching my mom, and of course she had a baby strapped to the front of her, and she's begging my mom for money. Now, she is speaking Swahili. I have no idea what she's saying, but her hands are out and she is clearly asking. And my mom just kept looking straight ahead and walking. And I started crying and chasing my mom and saying, Mom, can't we give her something? Give her something. And she just kept pulling me along with her. And then she had to explain to me later, I can't give one thing to her because there are so many other people around and we would have been mobbed. The moment I would have given anything, people would have come and just mobbed us. And she said, I had to think of your safety at that time. But I remember that woman. I remember seeing her and just feeling devastated because I knew she genuinely needed something. And I think ultimately, I mean, I want to see the world, but I want to be able to provide something for the world. I want to help resolve some of those things. I want to do philanthropy and go build something in a foreign country and be a part of that. I want to take my kids to build houses in Mexico. I want to do that. I am dying to do that. So only time will tell, but that is what I want to do.
A book and earn a bunch of money from that, and I am somehow going to have financial freedom and become my own boss.
Awesome.
And maybe we'll take some trips together.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I would like that.
Definitely
I don't
will.
really want to build a house, though. I would really like to just see the mountains and the oceans and the beaches.
You know, that all of my trips don't have to be based in philanthropy.
Okay.
Some of them will be complete pleasure and
All
joy,
right.
and we will hit some of those resorts where it is just complete self-care. And I am in full support of that. That is going to be part of my self-care.
Okay.
So you guys will
And
definitely
I
be
will
part of that.
send money to those people. I just don't want to be building.
I'll make you a
houses.
decal for your car to show support, and
you.
that will be perfect. Yay.
Shall
All
we do
right.
a test?
Yes. What do we got going today?
Well, I found an article called How Sixth Grade Predicts Your Future. And there's a quiz that goes along with it. I think it's a quickie.
Cool.
I sent it to you all.
Yes.
If we all want to do it real quick, and then well, hold on.
We'll discuss, or is it?
Let me tell you what it says here first
Okay.
before we just jump right in.
I think that we could do this where we ask the questions even.
Yeah.
Say them out loud. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what this says is that children and adults can be divided into 5 groups based on how likable they were as kids. The group you were in predicts your relationship, your career, and your happiness decades later.
Ooh.
Answer each question below based on your early teen experiences to find out which group you were in. So this is talking about 6th grade. I was 12 in 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
I was 11.
11-ish, 12-ish. But this then says your early teens. So we're talking
I was 11 too, but
pre-adolescence.
I have a late birthday in the school year speaking.
Mine was
I'm
always one of the
May.
first. I'm in October.
And you have
And
a
I'm
summer.
July. Yeah. So I
So
that
I was
would've been right.
11.
So I guess you're pre-adolescence. Around, it says 6th grade. So take yourself back to 6th grade and we're going to answer these questions. It's on a scale. So for example, question number 1 is, I was very well liked by my peers. You can score that very high, all the way down to I was very disliked by my peers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a range of 8 options in there. So you can't go straight in the middle. There's not one like right 50%.
Neutral.
No, you can't choose neutral. You have to score yourself either more towards liked or disliked by peers.
I hate neutrals. I don't like them at all.
Come
Well,
on.
good. This has no
Just
neutrals.
don't.
I had a girl that sat next to me. She was my desk mate in 6th grade. And I liked her very much. And she told me one day, mid-school year, I thought you were so weird.
Oh,
And then until I got to know you better. And
Yeah.
now I really like you.
she was an honest
Well, thank
desk
goodness.
mate.
She chiseled away at you.
I was like,
Oh my gosh.
I feel like
She
that's-
told you that when she was that young?
Yeah, it was a
Oh.
very frank conversation we were having.
Did it hurt your feelings?
Not at all. Not at all.
I would have been crushed.
Not at all.
But the end of the story was I thought this, but now I know better, and
But
now I
now I've
really like
learned.
you. So
I remember
But that's the
that.
personality difference. I would have been crushed.
I remember
really would have
that
been.
because I feel like that's true still.
Oh.
I disagree. Well, question number 2. Shall we keep going?
Yep.
I was rarely invited to parties and social events. The other extreme is I was frequently invited to parties and social events.
Are we sharing ours at the end?
Sure.
Okay.
Question 3. I had as many close friends as I wanted. The other extreme, I did not have as many close friends as I wanted. Question 4. Many peers liked me a lot, or very few peers liked me a lot. Okay. 5. Many peers disliked me a lot. The other extreme, very few peers disliked me. Hold on, I need a minute to concentrate on this.
You
Many
focus. I heard
peers
question 6.
disliked me a lot.
Whether they liked me or not, everyone knew who I was. Or the extreme opposite, I was not very well known.
Okay, so that's it. 6 questions.
I wanted to give Amy some time to think.
And this is on Mitch Prinstein. Sorry.
Prinstein.
Yes, MITCHPRINSTEIN.com.
So once you answer these 6 quick questions, you're going to get one of 5 different answers about your personality. The options that you're going to receive are either going to be accepted, neglected, controversial, and rejected. Is that 5? That feels
Well,
like
there's
4.
a little diamond in the
2,
middle that says
3, 4.
average versus extreme, so I think that might play a
Average.
role.
Maybe average is the other one.
Yeah.
1, 2. All right, Erin, what was your score?
I was accepted in the corner, so like I was not in the average area,
You're highly accepted.
apparently.
Okay.
But I think it has to do with where you go on that scale. Again, this is why I don't like that neutral area, although for this quiz it might be very beneficial. But I usually pick extremes. Like it's either A or B. There's all those 8 in the middle mean nothing to me.
Okay.
So
Let me see where it is in that corner.
If you can imagine a Foursquare, did you play Foursquare when you were in 6th grade?
yes,
I played Foursquare,
Heck
where it's
yeah.
just a big square cut, divided both ways, horizontally and vertically. So there's 4 equal squares, and it puts your
dot.
answer, gives you a little dot somewhere
where your dot
on
is.
the Foursquare.
Yeah.
I was in the accepted square also, but I was closer to the middle of the middle of the Foursquare.
Yeah.
Heather, you're accepted too.
I'm
you're
kind
in
of
the middle.
middle-ish.
You're
Middle-ish of the, and you
darn,
are on
You're
the
in like
top.
a beautiful line
Well,
that just
dang.
goes in that category.
We didn't get any controversial or neglected or rejected personalities. Darn it.
I feel like in this particular, at that age group, I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of controversial, like there wasn't a whole lot of people wearing goth makeup yet, things like that where they were trying to rock the boat. And so maybe if we got a little bit older, like hit freshman year of high school, maybe we would see more of this. Although I could be completely wrong.
I don't know. I feel like 6th grade, at least when I went to school, We had kindergarten through sixth grade all in one building.
Yeah, sixth grade was the oldest in elementary school when I was there.
Okay. And then seventh and eighth, those guys went up to the middle school, or the junior high is what we called it back then. So we were like the top dogs in the elementary school.
Yeah.
There weren't any older kids that were like experimenting with their identity and wearing makeup and all that stuff. I mean, I was still very young and immature.
I think that plays a role in it. When you think about where you were in the schooling system, you were the leaders in that point. You had kind of looked forward to being the sixth grader so that you were in charge. But I don't feel like, unless there were older siblings at play, there wasn't a lot of influence from older kids necessarily impacting you while in that school age.
I remember some very strong leaders, not always positive leaders.
Okay.
There was one girl who was in charge of a dance group.
Ooh.
She kind of was in the mean girl kind of mold. And I do remember a boy that was particularly bullied,
Oh.
who in my memory would probably fall into a different category here.
Oh.
Yeah, yes. And I did nothing about it at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Does that bother you now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've agonized over some
Yes.
things that I remember being done to other kids, and I
Yes.
did not stand up for them or do
No.
anything. And this was
I didn't
way,
participate. It
Right.
doesn't sound like you did.
No, but I didn't do anything.
What are they? A bystander.
Bystander.
Yeah.
And this was, I mean, we all went to elementary school before the days of them talking about bullying.
Right,
I mean,
right.
times have changed so dramatically.
much.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness. But there was I saw some awful things, and I didn't do anything. And I feel guilty about that all these years later.
Here, I'll go into my little. Let's cater to my ego a little bit. This was not sixth grade though. This was seventh grade, and so again, I think that makes a difference because I remember being that transition. But there was a boy who grew up in my neighborhood, unbelievably intelligent. I mean, just as smart as they come, and his parents had him skip fifth and sixth grade. So he went from fourth grade to getting on the bus with us as seventh graders.
Oh no!
man.
Again,
that sounds
sweet
horrible.
kid, sweet kid, and incredibly smart, incredibly kind. He had a good personality. Again, he did not have unusual characteristics that would have made him stand out in a negative way outside of the fact that he was significantly smaller than the rest of us. And clearly that's kind of where it comes in.
Emotionally,
Yeah.
not in the same space.
No. And so he would come on the bus and automatically people would start saying things to him and picking on him. And even at the bus stop, and I would champion him. I would stand next to him. I would sit with him on the bus. This was my friend, and I would stand up for him. And he ended up doing seventh and eighth grade with us and maybe ninth grade. And then he got a GED and automatically started. I think by the time we graduated high school, he was teaching at a local community college, which is amazing. He still lives in my parents' neighborhood, mind you. He is married with 2 beautiful children. But I remember thinking, there is nothing wrong with him. Don't you dare say anything to him. And he told me later on in life, he was like, you made a difference every single morning for me.
Oh.
And I was like, huh. Like, check that out. And
That's
that
awesome.
wasn't necessarily my intention at the time, thinking like, I'm going to make his day. I just didn't like the bullies. And I wanted to say something to him and stand up to him and say, don't do that. And don't, make fun of him. And he has said that made a difference. And I was like, oh, that is amazing.
I can't imagine being the smart kid, smaller, younger. So
I can't imagine being the smart kid.
in his,
yeah,
whatever. I know. So Jackie yesterday took the ACTs. Jackie is a 7th grader.
crap.
You have to do that at the high school with all the high schoolers. So she hasn't been worried about this at all because I've said to her, this does not matter. This is for fun. It's through a program, whatever.
You do different fun things with your kids than I do.
She was invited.
This is fun.
She was invited to take this test
That doesn't surprise me.
through Duke University, so it is super cool. But it has no bearing on her future.
No.
Potentially,
Yeah.
it really is for fun. And I asked her if she wanted to do it. She says yes. She hasn't worried about it for 1 second. We pull up to the high school. Everybody I saw drove themselves there. These are juniors and seniors in high school. These are not like the ninth graders. They are big. They are driving themselves. They are getting out. They are laughing and joking. And Jackie sat in the car and she was like,
I'm not
scared.
going.
And I'm like, are you scared of the test? No. She was scared of all those big teenagers.
Yeah.
And they're all walking in alone. And she's like, I'm walking in with my mom. It's embarrassing. I don't fit in. I don't belong here. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Can you imagine feeling that way every single day if you skip ahead? So we walked in and her old principal, so her elementary school principal was the main proctor who was pointing. These kids had to walk to different rooms in the high school to take it. It's not like it's all in one room. There were hundreds of kids going to different rooms. So
I wish we would have done it. Mine was in like a huge auditorium and I was horribly distracted by everyone around me. Maybe a smaller classroom would have made a difference. A little bit.
So parents are not supposed to walk their children to the room.
Oh my gosh.
So
It would have to be an exception for a little 12-year-old, for goodness sakes.
Well, what's also hard is she's physically mature, so she looks as tall as most of these kids.
Yes.
So you couldn't necessarily pick her out.
Did you bring her down to size, Heather? Did you like lick your thumb and make sure that her face clean her off?
No, but I grabbed that principal, and man, that principal was her Aaron.
Oh, yes.
And he helped her and assured her that if she had a problem, she could find him, because you can't take your phone either. Right. So it's not like she could call me. There was a problem, and I told her when she started freaking out, I'm like, you can walk out. It does not matter if you finish it.
Well, I remember a year ago when Ethan was going to do his freshman orientation, and we got to that school. This is the high school where I went to high school. We still live in the same hometown. There were 500 kids in my graduating class. And so when you take 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Okay. Long story short, there were a lot of kids going up and down the halls and meandering around the building when we arrived. I was going to the counselor's office to have a meeting. And
first, I have to ask, Amy, I'm going to interrupt you. Were you nervous walking into your high school?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the whole point. Is that I was so uncomfortable and so nervous. And these kids, without heels on, just under 5'3", these boys were big. They were loud. They were running. The girls were traveling in these big packs and
with their bellies exposed.
Everybody was loud and going quickly. Mm-hmm. And I went straight to the counselor's office, and there was a group of
just
guys.
Like your first day of freshman year.
But there was a group of high school kids, boys, standing right outside the counselor's office.
Oh.
And
you're starting to scratch.
I'm in my 40s, for crying out loud. I should be able to say, excuse me, fellas, I need to get in there.
Sons.
But I just kind of stood to the side and was like, kind of pacing from foot to foot. Like, I don't know. It was so uncomfortable. I was like, I don't know. I don't remember how I
get his genetics.
I don't know where his anxiety comes from, but I got in. Somebody came
slither underneath them?
Somebody came out of the counselor's office, and the guys had to move, and that was my end. So
the C's parted, and Amy just ran.
I ran in, and excuse me.
Oh,
and
my
I got in there, but where'd that come from?
What?
A ding.
I didn't hear a ding.
It's on your computer.
Oh. Again?
Damn it. I don't know. I didn't hear the ding, though. Maybe I was laughing too loud. Ignore the ding.
All right.
So the principal that helped Jackie, I noticed he had mala beads on.
Ah.
I'm like, oh, you're a kindred spirit. You tried to hide it under your collared shirt, but I see him under his sleeve.
Oh. He's a yogi, or he's a spiritual fella.
Yes. So
good.
One more thing fast about Jackie and her 7th grade self at the high school.
Oh.
When she walked out, I was like, are you okay? How was it?
I hope you made that face at her. Are you okay?
No.
How'd you expect her to respond?
She said it was easy, except for the math.
Yeah.
Which she says, there were things I hadn't ever seen.
Yes.
I mean, again, she is a 7th grader. There is math she has never done before that's on the ACTs. She said, I did my best to deduce how to do them from the math that I know. And I was like, oh,
Based upon how you just answered that, you scored higher than I did on the ACT.
I know, right? So
Wow.
she was fine when she got in there.
Yeah.
And started working and didn't have to see the high
Right.
schoolers.
They're strict when you take the ACT.
Oh,
I mean, there's
yeah.
no talking. There's no looking at your
Yep.
neighbor. You're in there and you are
Face down.
a man on a
Yeah.
mission. So
That's right.
Yeah.
all right. So let's talk about this because actually, my response fell in that middle diamond that they put in the center. So
Yeah.
my score actually was average. I did not get a score.
you
of
felt
accepted.
okay.
So
Cool.
Okay.
I could tell you what that means. Then you guys
All
tell me what
right.
accepted means. Then we'll tell you what these other people scores mean.
Cool.
I wonder if yours is slightly different than mine, Erin, because yours is much higher on the line.
I don't know. We'll compare.
All right. So for average, says average doesn't mean that you don't have exceptional qualities. It's just that you don't have any extreme reputations that characterize some of your peers. Hold on. I brought my glasses. I was
Okay.
stretching my arm away, and now
You
I
were.
actually have them.
If you look at Heather and I's phones, I apparently have mine on a much bigger
You
print.
certainly do.
I know.
Heather's got
So
the
maybe
teeny
that's just
weenies.
what you need.
Perhaps. Okay.
You need the grandma
The
setting.
grandma view. I don't know
right.
how I did it, but
Okay.
it helps.
Okay.
So, Amy, you don't have any.
I don't have any extreme characteristics about my personality. Around 50% of people fall into this group, though. So you're going to be able to find something to relate to in every one of the 4 categories.
50%, hence the term average.
Did it put the other categories in it? Because Erin and I don't have those.
Oh, you don't have them? Oh,
No.
yeah, I've got all of them.
No, it doesn't. All
Well,
it gives us is ours.
Tell me what your accepted ones say.
Go ahead, Heather.
It says that as somebody who's accepted, you may be accepted for reasons that are outside of your control, like being athletic or for your appearance. People who are in this category tend to be cooperative, empathetic, non-aggressive leaders, intelligent without being intimidating. They grow up to be more successful than others at work, happier at home, even physically healthier. They complete more years of formal schooling, make more money, and are more likely to that they are flourishing compared to others. They have a few blind spots. For instance, they tend to not accurately perceive negative feedback, less able to anticipate rejection.
What does that mean? Does that mean that less likely to accurately perceive negative feedback? Does that mean, like you saying, Erin, that you would be like heartbroken if somebody said that they didn't like you upon first meeting you, that you take that far more negatively than it really is?
Yeah, I think it can go to both extremes. I think it can mean someone, saying something again like, my first impression of you is this, but now, it's much better, and being hurt by that. But I think it can also mean the other extreme where someone's just like, I think you can be a little intense sometimes. And instead of being like, oh, calm down, be like, yeah, I'm intense. This is so awesome. That almost taking it to the extreme of that, which I don't think Heather falls into that category. I think you're far more middle ground than I am with that extreme. One of the things it does lead us to is a book by Mitch Prinstein, if you're interested in this, called Popular. And it has to do with, he's a psychologist, and he talks about how popularity affects success, relationships, happiness. So I think that's kind of the play on this, is how your popularity in 6th grade can impact you moving forward. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and hit up his book. It's out there on Amazon, so have fun with that.
Well, let me tell you about the other personalities.
Okay.
Maybe you'll identify with some of these if you are not able to take the test while we're talking about it. Maybe you'll be able to figure out which one you were just based on the descriptions. Rejected personality type. That's growing up, children might have been rejected for any number of reasons, because they were shy, they were aggressive, because of their socioeconomic status, their appearance, their social skills. Some maybe didn't even realize they were being rejected. And as adults, they sometimes have a harder time correctly reading social situations, but emerging research suggests they may be more empathetic than their peers. Okay. So
So
those
they might be a little bit more understanding of all types of people because they
were bullied or because they
Yeah.
were rejected. Neglected kids. are often more anxious, quiet, less interested in playing with others. As adults, many choose less socially demanding jobs and find romantic partners a bit later in life, and they remain the most consistent and adaptable members of most groups. Another style is controversial. They possess a rare combination of superior social skills and aggressive behavior that help them evolve into the cheerleaders. Oh, Aaron. And it boys or it girls who Hollywood loves to depict as popular. As adults, they often emerge as leaders, yet sometimes they can be the type to dominate and engage in risky behavior both personally and professionally.
Oh, I
We're gonna
totally
say
Aaron and look at me again.
I totally remember that girl in my school. She was very pretty. She was the leader of the dance group.
Yeah,
And there was something about her, like all the girls wanted to be her friend.
of course.
I did not. She scared. There was something about her that was frightening to me. So I steered clear of any kind of relationship with her.
Heather never danced again.
I didn't want to. All the girls wanted to be in her dance club. I did not. I don't know why she frightened me, but I didn't like that. I think there was that aggressiveness in her. She demanded loyalty in a way that I was not fond of.
Yeah.
Or I was scared of.
We had a group of girls when, again, I'm going back to 6th grade just because of this whole thing, but I was bullied for a little while because I was a gymnast. I was smaller than the average person and I had no boobies at all. I didn't develop at the average time that some of these girls were as they were starting to develop curves and do some of these things. I did not have that at all. And so
Did you stuff your bra?
I did not stuff my bra because I did not like the idea of wearing a bra, like the concept that it got in my way of doing what I wanted to do. So I didn't care to a certain extent, but then I got the fabulous nickname. You ready for this? Everybody just called me PT for pancake tits.
Oh,
Thank you for that.
Oh my gosh.
It was,
Man.
it hurt my feelings for a long time. And then after a while, especially my mom, because she's awesome, was just like, you're a gymnast. Look at the gymnasts. That is not what they do. This is part of that development.
Kids
if you
can
would
be
stop.
so mean.
Oh, they were horrible. But again, there was probably 3 people that called me that ultimately. Maybe other ones did behind my back, but there were 3 that I knew that called me that. And it was so annoying and hurtful. And once I stopped paying attention to it, once I stopped responding, they stopped calling me that. They just did. Like it was attention. They got under my skin. It was bothering me. So they would call me that. And once I would just ignore them or walk away or honestly show off some of my gymnastics stuff and that got other people's attention, they stopped calling me that. But that one drove me crazy. And then I stopped gymnastics 2 years later, I want to say. Not because of this whatsoever, but for that. And then I went to a double D. So take that, ladies. And then there was the immediate accusation that I stuffed my bra. And I was like, who would stuff their bra like this? This is the stupidest thing. Like I jump up and down and I'll have 2 black eyes. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that quickly went awry, went to a different side.
The extreme.
Yes.
Like you said, you live in extremes. So.
I do. Nothing to everything. Yeah.
Amy, what was the neglected category?
Oh, sorry. I just had to. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Sidebar.
I sidebarred that one.
He says that this dude, by the way, Princeton, I was just reading, he's a professor and the director of psychology at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and he studies clinical adolescent psychology.
Oh, nice.
So this is his
specialty.
whole bailiwick. But says most of the kids that were neglected turn out to be pretty okay. They tend to switch categories as they grow up. So a neglected 4th grader is just as likely to be neglected, accepted, or rejected by the time they reach high school. They could go in any direction. Notice they don't become controversial, though. So they don't become the very popular it kid, apparently. If you were playing by yourself as a child and it was your choice, or if you were simply not very interested in other kids, then you might have been very content with forging your own path as you grow up.
Yeah.
But if you were neglected because you were always feeling so apprehensive to approach others, there's a good chance that you continue to experience significant anxiety throughout your life. Research would suggest that if you were neglected as a kid, dating was probably not easy for you, and you probably chose a career path where you would have minimal social interactions that were especially scary, such as public speaking or sales or recruiting.
God bless you, IT people. You are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a little bit more. So you accepted gals. You probably had a very different life than the others, it says, because of your confidence and optimism. Some of you may have even had a little too much of both at times.
Oh,
I'm looking at you, Erin.
I know. There it is.
Heather's much more to the middle of
Yeah.
that. You're on the
I am
outside.
like almost off the chart. So
You're comfortable developing new relationships in your personal life and at work. So you have that as your advantage. You're probably a leader, maybe the social butterfly of your neighborhood, and maybe you have committed yourself to deep personal flourishing.
Ooh.
So I do think that, how extreme your score was probably determines how confident you are, how much of a social butterfly, because you two have the same score, but you're not the same in life.
No,
Really.
but I don't know. Like I hear some of these things and I'm like, oh gosh, I think it toned down as I got into high school and judged people a little bit more, I think, and was like, I don't want to have anything to do with you people. Because I was not included in what I would call the IT group in high school. I knew of them. I cheered with some of them. But that just wasn't my crew. And that was intentional, I think, as well. Like it was intentional on both of our parts. I don't think they wanted me and I didn't want them. But I now look at it and you're like the social butterfly of the neighborhood. I'm like, oh, I do like organizing stuff. And I do throw myself out there a lot and volunteer
all
for
your
crap.
neighbors and run to their
do.
garages and slip and break your tailbone.
Damn it.
So these controversial kids, here's some more details about them that helps us understand how you were not that, probably, Erin,
Nice.
is that you would have been one to grow up with a dominant high status in high school. So this would be like the A-listers who
Yeah.
probably bullied others to stay at the top of the teenage food chain.
Yep.
You probably started using illegal substances earlier in life, probably having unprotected sex, and you had an increased chance of teenage pregnancy or of getting someone pregnant before age 17.
I did
And-
not get anybody pregnant.
Did you get pregnant?
No.
Okay.
We're free and clear of that too.
All
Hot
right.
diggity dog.
And as an adult, research shows that you may have had some difficulties with substance abuse and addiction now, and you are focused.
You're Forcus.
I can't blame that on the reading glasses. That's just
That was just your tongue getting in the way.
You are more focused on beauty and power than others. You may even look older now than many of your classmates the same age as you. How fascinating.
That is
Why
fascinating.
is that? Tell me more, Princeton.
Drugs, alcohol, and sun.
Probably.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Sounds like
Yep. So rejected kids. I'm sorry. Did you want to say more about
no,
why
it was
people look
highly
old?
inappropriate. I'm not going to say it.
Okay, scratch it.
Heather's not bullying people.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
If you're rejected, though, you are twice as likely now to experience depression and anxiety. You make less money than others, and you may have difficulty finding a stable romantic partner. And if you did, you have been a little less secure in that relationship than others, oftentimes feeling like you were not loved or worthy of love. And being rejected in childhood actually changes brain wiring in ways that make you process the world around you a little bit differently. In essence, do you think that others are being mean to you even when they're not? You may even care more about external validation, such as seeking praise and reassurance. And being rejected even has triggered dominant DNA in your cells to increase your risk for inflammatory disease later in life.
Oh my goodness.
Those little rejected babies.
I wonder if that has anything to do with stuff like real fibromyalgia or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Mm.
Oh. But okay, so not everybody who is rejected turns out to have these type of difficulties. These are sweeping generalizations that we're making here.
I just wonder if there's a correlation
right.
with those.
And it says just as not everyone who was accepted is going to have a lifetime of success. However, findings have been remarkably consistent in suggesting that this very simple classification into 5 groups of likability in elementary school is a stronger predictor of adult lives than we ever thought. In fact, we even have some evidence to suggest that how likable you were in elementary school is affecting how you parent your own children and how likely they will grow up. It's going to influence them too.
Oh, wow.
I remember in 6th grade, I got glasses.
Ooh.
They weren't cute or something?
Well, according to today's standards, they're not so cute because they were the big round ones. Do you remember? Okay, hold on. I was born in 74. So if I was 12, 86.
86.
Maybe 85 or 86, maybe 85. I got my glasses. So they were peach.
Did they kind of look like Barb's from Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly
there we go.
like Barb's at Stranger Things. And
Yeah.
the arms were down like at the bottom.
Oh, so
Like
they curved up?
connected at the bottom and kind of curved up to go over my ears. Chip
Please
likes to
tell me
harass
we have a picture of this we can post.
Oh,
Please,
I have
Amy.
my 6th grade picture. I don't know if I want the world to see it.
Okay.
My children terrorize me over that picture, but
We all have those pictures, though.
It's
Every
true.
one of us has those pictures where we're like, oh.
Chip likes to say that I had my initials in the corner.
corner?
I did not have my initials in the corner, but that was the
With
trend.
with a Sharpie?
No,
like-
you could get like a little charm, not a charm. It was like adhered
It's like
to
a little
the
tiny
lens.
plastic decal
Like
that
a little
had
decal.
that
You could get like a
get.
little. You could get your initials, or you could get like a little heart or
Hey,
a flower.
kind of like
Seems
in the
modern. I want to put my initials on
Stop
everything.
it! No, you don't.
Well,
it is so stupid.
You think of it like the 60s, though, where everything was monogrammed? You know,
I want
like
to
the
monogram
necklace.
everything now. I'm not kidding.
No, but that's trendy again. They put it on their little sweaters, like Laverne and Shirley.
No,
But
this
you
was
did not have
it
yours
was not cute.
monogrammed.
I did not, Chip. He likes to think that I had it, and I tell him every time. This comes up all the time.
That is hilarious.
That time in my life, that comes up a lot for some reason at my house. It's probably because Ava, she's 13,
Yeah.
so she loves to see just how dramatically different you guys know this, that nowadays
yes.
these little kids are. They do not have an awkward phase. They do not have to learn how to do makeup the way that we did. They just
they all watch
go from-
YouTube
It's not
tutorials.
fair.
It
They
is
have clear
not
braces.
fair.
Little butt heads.
Yeah, they have a different life than we did. We had to rough it. So anyway,
Thank God we didn't. Don't you think about that everything was not recorded when we were kids? Aren't you so grateful for that?
yes.
Oh my
For
gosh.
a variety
now.
of reasons.
Oh, yeah. Every thought we had just posted out there and put out there like we are so important. No, stop it.
No, I'll see if I can find that picture and share it with you.
Amy,
guys.
you said that you could identify with any of them. Do
Yeah,
you
it did
think
say
there's a
that.
particular one that you identified with when you were a 6th grader?
I guess we should go back to the test.
I
Sorry.
don't know.
We're just on little personal tangents.
I think I would vacillate between neglected and accepted. Neglected, one line says these kids tend to be a little bit invisible and nobody really notices them one way or the other. So I was extremely quiet. I was not athletic. I was not a go-getter. I had like 1 or 2 best friends.
Okay.
But I didn't feel rejected. I wasn't picked on. I certainly did not feel like the it kid who was at the top of the food chain. That's for doggone sure.
But don't you think, because you said before that you were always anxious, so do you think that that was also intentional, that sometimes you kind of hung back in the corner on purpose? Like you stayed to the side on purpose because you didn't want to be pulled into that limelight?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, I didn't want attention. So, and you know, he says that surprisingly, most of these kids turn out to be okay, and that they go a different path as they get older.
So there's a chance, Amy. Did either of you do talent shows?
Are you kidding? I did, but only because I was in dance. And so there would be like 3 of us that would get up and we would just perform our dance routine. I never like did anything that I didn't know what I was doing. You know,
You
what I
didn't
mean?
bust out a solo?
No, I get the feeling you did.
A little bit.
A few times.
Every single time.
And what did you sing?
I usually didn't sing. I was usually doing gymnastics.
Oh,
But I would get up there and do my own routine without a problem. I was uber competitive. Was like I'm talking in past tense. That's ridiculous. I am uber competitive. And we had a gymnastics team in my elementary school. It was a very big deal to me. I loved it. It breaks my heart that they don't do that stuff anymore. But in gymnastics team, you tried out. After school, you would set up the beam, the bars. They would have a rope just for strength training, but you climbed the rope, you climbed the ridiculous nets that they had hanging down, the cargo nets. And then we had a floor out. It was awesome. There was not a spring floor there, but it was a nice matted floor. I loved gymnastics team. I always had so much fun doing gymnastics team. And in 6th grade, the 6th graders got to do the last routine. It was a big deal to do that. You did it in front of the whole school. And then we actually traveled to other elementary schools and did things there. It was very fun. And our 6th grade year, there was another girl who got her back tuck. I had been doing it in gymnastics on the spring floor, but I was afraid to not have a spring floor and to do it. But man, when she threw it in her routine, ooh, I did it.
You betcha.
You betcha. I was like, you're not showing me up. Heck no. And they actually unintentionally, I took it as a threat. The final performance, the person who did their last individual performance, in my mind, this could have been completely just in my mind because it was never said in any way, but in my mind, they were the best. Whoever got selected to do the last performance, you were the best. That was, and I watched it every year growing up, watching that 6th grader and who they selected to do the last routine and being like, that is going to be me. And one of the coaches at one point told me, if you can't do your back tuck, we're going to switch you to be earlier in the show.
Oh,
hell no. That was not happening. So I whipped out my back tuck every time. And I was like, bring it on. That is how this is going. So I got to do. And I did my performance to Axel F from Beverly Hills Cop. The do, 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 do. Oh, yeah. That was my song. It was my jam. I had never seen Beverly Hills Cop, but I knew that song. It was amazing. So every time I even hear anything like that, I'm like, oh, 6th grade, last routine. Yes. It still brings me pride. It's ridiculous.
that's a proud moment for you.
It is. When I was 11, excuse me.
You've carried
It's
it
still been
into
that
your...
peak of my existence. So all been downhill.
I think that I should have been more in the neglected category. Not,
Really?
Yeah, not because I think neglected is not a nice word.
No.
It has a negative connotation.
Yeah. And I think the reason why I was in the accepted category may be that, he talks about it's things that are outside of your control.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I was in 6th grade, I was like full grown adult size.
Okay.
I was 5'2". I was fully developed. That is big for a
6th grade.
For sixth grade,
I
yeah.
was probably the tallest girl in my class at that time.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So I think that it made me stand out. And I also think that girl that I keep talking about,
The mean girl.
I don't think she was trying to be mean. I perceived her as being controlling, and I think she had a very specific way she wanted to have fun, and she wanted everyone to join her. Yes. She was focused on me, and I shied away from her, and she wanted me to be. I think like those people who want what they can't have.
Yes.
I think I was like her thing. Seriously. Like I had no interest. I didn't want it. I didn't care. All the other girls cared. They really wanted to be in it. And I was sort of like, thanks,
really
but
care
no
about you.
thanks.
I'm sure that based on what you've said about that girl, I am sure the fact that you ignored her drove her crazy.
I
That
think
you
it
did
really,
not
it
seek her
probably
out.
did. I didn't
Oh,
know that
yeah.
at the time. And I wasn't trying to hurt her or anything like that. I just didn't want to be a part of it.
Yes.
I wanted to sit on the swings or do my own thing. I didn't want that kind of attention.
Did you swing, Heather, or did you just sit on the swings?
I'll probably just sit, but whatever.
She had to sit and think about it. We all know how Heather does that.
I liked swinging. It was solitary. So I think that part of why I was in that accepted category are things that are outside of my control.
Was her.
And her attention and my physical size. And I just looked mature.
Yeah.
Right. Too mature.
Too mature.
Now that you're looking back at it, you're like, I should have taped my boobs. Things just would have been so much better.
Warren, I needed like one of those like assets things for my butt. Squeeze it in.
I don't think they make those that small.
Yeah, but they don't. Or those
you in.
control top.
Right.
But even those like asset ones, they leave like buttholes so that your butt can be perky. You haven't worn those?
I know exactly what you're talking
Assholes is a terrible
I don't know if
word
I'd
to
call
say
those
it.
buttholes.
They're like they leave.
It's not as tight in the buttocks area because they want your
specifically
butt to
want
stick
your
out.
butt to stick out. So it's
that's
tight
right.
in the other spots. I needed one that was tight all over. I needed like
You
a
needed to
full
wear it
body.
backwards.
Yeah. I needed a full body compression suit so I wouldn't stand out.
A full body compression suit.
I was
Heather
very
needs one of those socks that people wear after they've had surgery, except
did-
just for her whole body.
It's
Just
hard.
slide
It's
it right
hard
on
to
up.
be one of the girls that develops first, and I didn't want that kind of attention.
No, and that's I'm sure you got attention on both ends because of that, boys and
I
girls.
did, and
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
No.
I don't remember if I developed on time or not. I just know I had these big honking glasses on my head and I was a real fool. So nobody was looking at me with admiration. Nobody wanted me on their cheer squad. Nobody wanted me because of my body. I was the invisible little nerdy girl in the corner.
That's what I wanted to be.
Maybe they were
Amy.
like, maybe we should ask Amy. And they're like, I don't know, our glasses might get in the way.
I should have gotten glasses.
That's all you needed. Because I don't
needed
even
some
remember my
glasses.
body.
People would have left you alone.
I was very aware of my body at that time, and that makes me sad, and it makes me sad for my daughters are in this stage,
Oh.
and I feel a little sorry for them. But they're not having the same experience. I'm projecting this onto
Right.
them. They're fine with it.
Good. Okay.
Yep. Well, I thought maybe while we were recording, I'd be able to find that doggone picture, and I can't find
You
it.
would
I'm
saved it on
scrolling
your
for-
phone?
Well,
That's
like I said, Ava has a picture of it, and she likes
likes-
to send it to me just every once in a while. Just for
gosh!
just a rogue picture of you, and you're like, oh.
always.
I think we
my
should all
gosh.
post a picture of our 6th grade selves.
Okay.
I love my 6th grade picture. You got it.
I loved my teacher. I think that I often, I remember in those early, like 5th, 6th, 7th grade, I loved like having intellectual conversations with my teachers.
Yeah.
You think that's funny?
I have a horrible, ridiculous image in my mind of all the kids being like, let's go out and play on the playground. And Heather being like, I'm going to stay in and help Mrs. Z.
I would have
100%
totally.
me.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh. I would have.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That
would
is
have.
hilarious.
Yes.
No,
I did do that. I was chosen. She would say, would you like to help me grade the papers? I'd be like, absolutely.
Bet you I
I would
would.
get the red pen.
Let me put my glasses on. We'll do this.
I could not take my glasses off. I was blind as a doggone bat.
That's me right
Had
now.
to wear them 24/7.
I'm blind as a bat, and it still does not, because Ben has perfect vision. It doesn't occur to him. So at night, I take my contacts out every night. I will bring my glasses over and wear them for a little while. And then after a while, I just set them off to the side because I'm getting ready to go to bed. And then all of a sudden he'll be like, oh, let me rewind this and you can watch it. I was like, I see a box in front of me with light.
Right.
That is it. I see no detail whatsoever. So he doesn't understand it. And every now and then he'll put on my glasses and he's like, oh my gosh. It's like, can you see the neighbors across the street? Like the detail on their computer, because it's horrible. But I do wear my contacts every day. So
I wear my contacts every day too, and they're strong. And
are they're not
they're not bifocals yet,
She
but
needs
I think
to
I
get
need
them.
them
You
to
might
be
get there.
bifocals. It's
That's
all right.
hilarious.
I brought my. I just. I
You brought
did
them.
expand my text size on my phone just while we've been here today, and we're going to see if
And it
that's going to
helps.
help. I think it's helping. Still can't find that doggone picture though, but
You're
we'll
gonna
post
look
them
for
all.
We'll
it
post them.
later.
We'll post them. We'll all have our 6th grade picture, and you can judge away.
No, you guys post your pictures.
That's
you people
right.
at home think you're better than us. Post your pictures.
Not better than me.
I do think 6th graders now are so much cuter.
They are.
They don't have the, I mean, every now and then you'll see one of those awkward ones and you're like, oh, okay. Like, to me, that's normal. So I know some parents are devastated, like when school pictures come out and they're like, oh my gosh, we have to do a retake, which there were no retakes back in the day. You gotta be kidding me. Unless you were absent, they were not letting you retake a picture. It's that
Right.
simple. But I have my kindergartner and my 2nd grader. If you look at their class pictures right now, it shows such a difference between that age range of 5 and 7. The 7-year-olds are all sitting peacefully with a normal, semi-normal smile on their face. Some of them it's fake because you're like, oh, you have to smile. But the kindergartners, oh my gosh, one of them's eyes are closed. One of them is literally making a face like they're growling at the camera. It's
Right.
That's probably the best one they got too.
it is.
Right.
Oh yeah. You know that they were just like, just go with that one. I don't even know what to say. But I love seeing those because it does show that stage. And so now you don't get those as much. My 1st grade picture is my nightmare picture. My mom was not home that morning. She allowed my father to get me ready. And oh heavens, I put my own hair up in a ponytail and then I tugged it how many times? So all that hair just came pulling forward in uneven patterns.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. And my mom was like, oh no, we're keeping that. That is a statement right there of exactly what that year was like. So
I like those more natural ones. I wouldn't want them always to be
perfect.
glamour shots and perfect.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, when we were in 6th grade and you're learning how to curl your hair and stuff, like nobody had a tutorial that showed you which way to roll the curling
true.
iron. So
You have that kink.
You have a kink in your hairdo, or you just
No,
didn't
I had
know.
a perm with my
perm
flip
too.
up with
Oh,
my mall bangs.
Mine is a
sprayed
flip
as
up.
high as they could go.
I have a flip up in mine. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It looks
That was
good.
we had
cool.
perms, people.
Oh,
Perms.
the perms. There was no instruction on what to do with
Home
eyebrows.
Perm. I
Yeah.
had a home perm.
Oh.
So did I.
Yes.
Not a salon quality.
Well, my mom did have a hairstylist friend that came and did it at the house. So I did have a good perm.
It was a quality perm, but it was done in her home to make
Yes.
the distinction.
Yes.
I did not have a good quality.
I wish perms would come back in style because I liked my permed hair.
You could go get a perm, Heather.
I know, but it's not
People
cool anymore.
do them. I tried a perm. Oh gosh, it was closer than I'd like to imagine. And the woman who was doing it's like, this is not a perm. This is a body wave. No,
It was perm.
this was a perm.
Yeah.
Well, why
And-
can't I have hot rolled perm? Like, like
Right.
hot roller
Well,
curls.
that's supposed to be a body wave. Like that is supposed to. It's
didn't
supposed to have no. Well, she didn't do it right. I mean, when I saw the size of the curlers that were being put in my hair, I was like, I think this woman is high. There is a problem. But when someone is a professional, and I was at a salon, when someone is a professional, I was like, trust them, Erin. You know nothing about hair. Stop it. And then she took it out, and I was like, oh. Thank you. And
look
she
like a
goes,
poodle?
it'll loosen up as you go home. They tell you not to wash your hair.
Yeah.
What, 24 hours after a perm. Isn't that what Legally Blonde teaches us? I think. But I went home and washed my hair immediately.
Every
praying
Cosmo girl knows.
that this exactly. Every Cosmo girl knows. No, I went home and washed my hair immediately, like praying that this would come out. No, did nothing. And I had to deal with that.
You know what you have
for-
to do is you have to buy another perm
and
and
straighten
you
it.
straighten it.
Straighten it. Well, and to do, my mom later on told me I should have used great big rollers and she could have helped me. But at the time I just went home in shame and stood in the shower crying.
like a poodle.
Like, yeah, it was not good.
Maybe
was just
I will
like,
just ask the hairstylist, can you please?
help me out
Give me a
here.
perm.
Give it a shot. And if
Try
you
it.
show up here one day looking a little bit like you've been electrocuted,
Well,
because that's how I looked. Amy and I will give you a gentle smile and go, "What did you do?
Look at you.
Look
Heather.
at you. You know what? All those
How
famous
do you like it?
compliments. Yes. All the famous compliments that you have to do where you're like, yeah, how do you like it? Look at you. What did you do? With a big smile on your face. So,
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to
Did
just
they do
work
that
on
for long term?
accepting it as it is, which is flat.
Oh, your
That's
hair's
okay.
beautiful as it is.
It's
Don't
fine.
go permanent.
It's fine. I wish I had Jacqueline's hair, my daughter. She has like natural beach wave and she has thick hair and she doesn't care and she puts it in a bun and then when she shakes it out, it's so pretty.
Mhm.
And
that
I
why
just
you bun
love
it up
her
sometimes?
attitude. To get my beach
Yeah.
waves. Yeah, Jackie taught me that works, but it doesn't work on me. It works
Doesn't
on
work on
her
yours.
because she has wavy hair.
And, yeah, my girls have my hair, which is as straight as a freaking arrow. And then it kinks really easily. So if you put it up in a ponytail, it's ruined until you take your next shower. It's just like, that's it.
You
Forget
can see
it.
where the elastic was. or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you sleep wrong on it and it bends at like one small angle, it's there permanently till you shower
All
again.
right. Well,
So
no perms.
No perms.
We-
We'll
yeah.
leave those in the 80s.
we discourage
If you
that.
have a perm
Good for you for having
Good
that confidence.
for you, I hope it's
We hope it
just how
compliments
you like it.
I hope it matches Amy's glasses. And we'll post pictures.
Rocket.
Follow us at Personality Pod anywhere. We've got-
Website, Twitter, Instagram. Everything is Personality Pod. We'll link this test in case you want to find out if you were neglected, rejected, controversial, or accepted as a child and what that means for you today.
Post your awkward pictures. We would love to see them.
We want to see you in 6th grade.
Yep,
And
We'll post ours too.
we will.
thank you for listening.
Have a good one.
Bye.